Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Why, hello there, everybody.
So, guys, we want to share with you a message we received from the Galactic Federation, and it has to do with Ascension and the heart chakra. And before we play that, because I do have it recorded, I just want to touch on a few things, such as the fact that right now, so much is going on naturally. And as we've said, there's tons of artificial flavoring that's also happening. And we've been trying to point that out. And yeah, Zeke's been doing a lot of walking. You could probably hear his clip-clopping feet there. It's like everything that's happening naturally, there's also this artificial component that's going on. And where the natural changes really have a benevolence to them, the artificial ones have a malevolence to them.
Oh, they sure do. They have a big malevolence to them. And at first, it started out really cool because, hey, wow, I don't want to date myself too much, but when I was little, we had these remote controls that actually plugged into the TV with a wire. And then when a couple years later, you were having a remote control without the wire. So you just felt so free. And this is a lot of fun. And then microwaves come out. And wow, my food can be done super fast. And moms all over the planet are getting a break and a deep breath. And they're like, I can rest a little bit. I don't have to work so hard to cook all this food. But you know what? It really started to take over in such a negative way.
And yeah, to bring up the microwaves again, we don't use microwaves because they have negative health effects.
But back then people thought they were great.
Right. It just saved us time and things like that. All these different conveniences that come out, just like cell phones too. But there's always costs involved. And one of our dear brothers that we're working on energetically had a habit of putting his cell phone up to his neck a certain way, and now he has a big TUMOR there that we're working on getting rid of energetically. And this again, that was something that they said, oh no, it's just there's no worries there, everything's fine, but then it does come with a cost. Everything comes with a cost, it seems, technologically. We could see that. We gain convenience, we lose freedom. We lose our ability to unplug. And, it's just been one thing after another. And, we could go on and on with all the things that many people had instinctively knew were unhealthy. And yet we were assured, no, that's perfectly harmless. And then later on, yes, well, by the way, it could cause the big C. Mm-hmm. One thing after another, and not to get off topic here, but basically there are energies incoming that are affecting our heart chakras. And the heart chakra is such a key chakra because it's all about where we're going, and we need to have it opened up in order to go to where we want to be, which is leaving the 3D 4D loop and ascending into a 5D consciousness, a heart-based consciousness. And so I wanted to cover that, as we've gotten this information from Laurel and she wanted to address it, and we're going to play for you now the recording that we got. Is this Laurel?
This is Laurel speaking to you from the Galactic ship.
Greetings, Laurel.
Greetings.
What would you share with us today?
We want to bring to people's attention their heart chakras are once again getting larger. They're getting an increase in energy. This can cause problems such as physical problems like headaches. It can cause problems like heart pain, chest pain. We do want you to pay attention to it. Keep yourselves in a place where you are happy and content. As these energies come in, it's extremely important for people to find themselves in a place of contentment, for the energies to absorb into your energy body appropriately to help you align with your higher self and evolve.
I have noticed doing yoga, as I've been doing yoga more intensely, that when I'm working on that mid-back area, I am getting at times really sharp pains. And I've been thinking that it is just what you said, some sort of release, opening, letting go and going to a whole new level energetically.
You are also helping your channel transmute energies that are in the way for her. You're evolving and you're healing. This is just the natural way of a healer.
When you say higher self, and we've all, well, most of us have said that or thought about that, can you tell us where that higher self resides as far as, is there a particular density or is it different for each individual?
These can range, your higher self can range in different densities. Most people who are light workers, it does reside on what you would consider the fifth density. It also has layers of information that are valid to your perception here on Earth. How you perceive things can depend upon where you are at on certain densities. Some people are able to hold a fifth density perception most of the time. Other people are still working through issues and work through lower densities. This does not make anyone good or bad. It just is where you're at on your path to evolution.
So when we are in the Satya Yuga, when we're in the golden age, we are basically united in that one with our higher selves.
All of the time you're with your higher self, you're functioning at your highest level, performing at your best. It is very joyous to be at this level.
And we have gotten from you that the yugas, the cycles, are real, and it does depend on our where we are in space. Do the yugas follow the precession of the equinox? Because that is what I was getting. That it's basically cyclical based on the precession of the equinox.
Just as everything is cyclical, the yugas are cyclical. The elites or the controllers are aware of these cycles. This is why they are able to control you at a certain density and keep you at a lower density for an amount of time. But it always comes to an end. So you can move forward. We are encouraging humans at this time to align with their higher selves so they can move up on this timeline into a higher density and not be trapped in the lower densities with your controllers.
And as you have spoken with us about in the past, they are desperately trying to entrap people in their lower frequency.
They do this using tools like technology that is different, technology that we see as different than technology of the human body and the planet Earth. They have technologies that they've given to you to hold you in these lower frequencies. If you see technologies, can you wake the channel?
Yes, thank you, Laura. So, yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to get more of that last thought there, but we'll go back and see what we could do as far as just reestablishing a connection. As it is taxing to do that, and there's only so much time that we could usually get before the body starts to experience discomfort, to say the least. And then it takes me running a lot of energy to bring back balance so that she could go in again. Although a lot of times and often we could communicate without going into the trance as well. So we could do both, and that's really cool. The information when she's in trance like this is Laurel directly speaking. And we've talked to others, and it's interesting because the voice does change, the mannerisms do change as well.
It does, and I do like this way because you are getting more of a direct contact, whereas the other way it's a different kind of a translation. But ultimately, it's all about translation. I just think it's really fascinating about the technologies and how they see it differently. And I think it's wonderful that we have some kind of guidance to help guide us through this time of the Kali Yugas. And it feels like we're on a cusp right now. And we're just babies. We're just kind of like finding our way, like feeling our way through the dark, because we don't even really understand our bodies. What all can they do? How much can we heal other people and ourselves? That all of this has been hidden from us. And this is the information that I like to get.
Yeah, and what we've gotten is that when we're in the Satya Yuga, we are just like the legends of the gods. Now we still have issues. Nobody is perfect. Even as we go up in density, it's not like when the fifth density you is going to be a flawless individual. We're all still basically working through duality. And it's just that there's a higher sense of purpose and a greater sense of unity, which tends to guide us in making more benevolent decisions towards everyone and each other. So, as we descend down through the ages, we come into a zone where these darker energies they're waiting for us. They know at what time pretty much they can expect a chance to grab us and clutch onto us. And then the same thing as we're leaving and we're back on the ascending path, which is where we are now. So it's just like we're climbing a ladder, and we could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they are grabbing onto our ankles and trying to drag us back down with them. How do they do it? Well, they get us to lower our vibrations, and they get us to also use all the marvelous gifts they give us, right? These gifts that come at a price as we see it. Just look around your room, the TVs, the computers, the smartphones, the Wi-Fi, all these conveniences, even just your house in a way. If it keeps you from getting out and getting the messages, the enlightenment that comes from the sun every single day. As we've shared with you guys, Cindy can see into the sun, and she sees these creator gods, quote unquote, creator beings, as really the word again, gods. It's gotten to be just so obfuscated. It's just twisted. It's so distorted. It has so many multiple meanings now. Everything is beings. They're all beings and units of consciousness. Now, these ones that are in the sun are truly very, very high level benevolent, beautiful beings, not evil by any stretch of the imagination. And they are sending us energy. They're sending us frequency. They're sending us downloads from source, as the sun itself is a relay from the source, the one true source. And the one true source can't be named because a name limits. And anytime and that's what we learned from Taoism. If we study these different traditions, we could get a little bit of the picture here, a little more of the picture there. And in Taoism, the Tao that can be named is not the true Tao because it's limitless. And like the term that we get again from the law of one, right? Infinite intelligence. It's infinite. Anything you put a label on, you're limiting and restricting. If you're saying the true name of God is X, Y, or Z, you're deluding yourself because it's an impossibility. It's an absolute impossibility. The true name of God is oneness. Ultimately, if you look at it, from a higher perspective, there is an underlying unity to all things, but yet Source is exploring its own playground, its own creation from every single aspect possible. Each one of us, we're not pure white, we're not white hats and we're not black hats. Again, everything is a infinite myriad of different shades, colors, hues. They're all different vibrational frequencies. Each one of us has our own harmonic signature.
And, and many different levels, I guess you call them our controllers, they understand all of this stuff. And we're kind of left in the dark, feeling around, figuring it out. So that's why it's always nice to have a little bit of guidance to try to understand ourselves as human beings, as creatures of frequency, creatures of just sound and energy. How does this whole planetary thing work? How do we work with the planet? How do we work with each other? How do we work with ourselves? What does it look like when we move up in evolution? It's also very exciting, and there's so many unanswered questions. We do have some literature, but how much of that we can truly rely on, I don't know, but at least we got some.
Yeah, everything, as we were hearing, moves in cycles. And, of course, we could look at it as like a circle. If we're looking at it a little bit more accurately, we might see the spiral, like we see the spiral of the Milky Way galaxy. We might see it as, the golden ratio, pi. If we look into nature and look at shells and things like that, we see the spiraling pattern. When we look at DNA, we could see, again, and the staff of Hermes, and we see basically what we're seeing is kind of a sine wave, and we move in that way as well. We go through our descending period and then back up into our ascending period, and so we are on the upswing, believe it or not. We're on the upswing. Now, the chaos is all going to let loose as their grip. Again, they're hanging on to our ankles, so to speak. Their hands are sweaty. It's sliding. Our legs are starting to get free. They're going to clutch on and sink the nails in, so to speak. They're going to just do everything they can before we are finally free. And that's what we're seeing. And also, it's again that mimicking. If we look at it just from the AI perspective, and again, we've talked about, well who are these beings? In so many ways, they're a mimicry of all that is good and all that is natural. And they're following a cancerous path, a path that really is very self-destructive. And we could see the destructiveness to the planet, which again is self-destructive because we're part of this living ecosystem organism. And it's just insanity to destroy your home. Again, that also shows you that these beings are not truly from this planet, this realm of existence, which is our true home up through these ages. As we look at it, we're in a much longer time period when we're in the golden age. The silver age is a little bit less, the bronze less, and thankfully the dark age is the smallest. So again, we're heading upwards, and that's the beautiful thing. And the key is going through the heart chakra. So again, there's things out there that are mimicking the natural things that we have to go through, the emotional releases, the buried traumas, the even past lifetime scarring that's on our hearts. And we have to let all that go. And that's part of what's happening as our heart chakras are enlarging, taking in more energy, taking in more prana, taking in more love, taking in more of the Holy Spirit, the true Holy Spirit, taking in more of the Shekinah, the divine essence that will nourish us and transform us into what we really are, which is luminous beings of light. That is what we are. And again, we could look at this from many different angles. And I think, again, there are some real gems that are hidden in the Bible. And then there's different ways of looking at things. Like when we talk about revelation, and I've shared this with you before, it talks about the dragon dragging down 1/3 of the stars to the earth. Well, what we've gotten is 2/3 of the people currently incarnated on the earth have only incarnated on the earth. Their souls, these eternal aspects to ourselves, have only had 2/3, roughly, have only incarnated here. 1/3 have incarnated elsewhere, and basically you could view them as galactic travelers. They've got their passports, so to speak, to other realms, and they are here for the most part trying to bring up the consciousness of this planet when it's going through its dark age. So, you could say that the dragon, the dark side, the Draco, the AI dragon that we have seen as well at the top behind this, the demonic energies, the minions, the grays, etc. They have dragged 1/3 of the angels that were up in the golden age, the Devic beings, these beautiful benevolent souls that have been on 5D and on higher densities. They have dragged some down here because of the system, but it's not that they pulled them down, or it's not that these beings are here because they are dark or demonic themselves. No, they're here on a mission of light, trying to awaken people and help people ascend back out so they won't be trapped in the cycle with the controllers. The controllers are not ascending. They're not getting out of this matrix. They're staying in the matrix, whether it's on this planet or another planet. They're staying in the matrix. They can't because their vibrations won't allow them. So, and I know there's people that listen in. There's beings that listen into us on a regular basis, just monitoring us, monitoring what we're saying. Everybody is monitored, as we know, on this planet. And so to you that are helping to manifest, the plans of the dark energies, the creators and sustainers of this matrix, you really truly are only damning yourself. You're only keeping yourself in suffering. You're only keeping yourself in these lower vibrational frequencies. And many are aware of that now. Many are waking up and saying, I thought I was doing something good. I thought I was serving my family, my country, my world. But you know what? I know now I haven't been doing that. I've just been serving the power structure that maintains control over this planet and over everything that's on this planet. Can you live with that? A lot of them are waking up and they know they can't live with that. And then there are others that, their souls are so darkened that, they're not going to make it out in this wave and in this cycle and the ascending period of this particular time.
Right. And, it is really sad because a lot of these people, they're just coming to grips with, wow, I really thought that I was making a difference in another way, but now I'm learning that I've just been keeping other people in this lower cycle and not actually helping, but I was helping support this lower frequency matrix. And it is something very, very difficult to awaken to, but a lot of these people are awakening to it. And that just goes to show how strong this light can be when it takes someone who's had a lifetime of holding strong in the matrix, and then it has them finally asking questions and questioning the matrix that they help hold up themselves, and actually face it and admit it and really start freeing other people like themselves.
Truly. And, many have caught on that we go through these cataclysms in certain intervals. And again, it is related to where we are physically, because again, as above, so below, and this battle rages on many different densities. And there is a reason why, because we keep dipping down into this area. As we said, Peter Dunev had said that we're in this dark zone where horrible things have happened, including mass extinctions and horrible wars that you can barely imagine. But we're going to be leaving it, and there's going to also be this blast that comes in that wipes the slate clean and changes everything, everyone. If you're holding on to those lower frequencies, you're not going to be able to make it through this. You have to let go. You have to go up in vibrations, because your 3D body will not be able to handle it. And again, we go to First Corinthians, and lo, I will tell you a secret: we shall not all die, but we all shall be changed. Can people ascend physically? Yes, it does happen. It's along any timeline, we still can ascend physically. It takes tremendous effort. In many cases, it takes multiple lifetimes to be able to incarnate and then take it with you, so to speak, transmute it. And again, you could go into the Bible and get some truth where it does say that the spiritual body is of a different substance than the physical body. It's just of a different frequency. Again, and if we're rising up in vibration, then we're going to have a different reality, and we're no longer going to be stuck in this matrix. They want to hang on to as many as they can, because they cannot ascend with what they hold in their heart. And if we're holding, greed and selfishness and all these negative vibrations that will lead us to even control others against their will, well, if you're part of that matrix, you're not going to get out of here. You're not going to ascend. And so, basically, you're going to be facing, again, that your own karmic backlash. So again, to all those controllers out there right now that may or may not even realize that they are part of the controller's system, it's time to search your soul, and it's time to decide, what side are you going to be on, so to speak? Are you going to be on the ascending side or the descending side?
Definitely, it's a time for all of us to do some self-explorations and start to understand what we're about, who we are. Also, it's time to kind of pick apart our traumas and get them out of the way, because those definitely keep us from ascension, and then they cause body aches and body issues if we're unable to work through them. So it's really important that you just stop, take a look at those traumas, start to figure them out, thank them for their lessons that they have taught you, and release them. And believe me, it's no easy task, but it's a worthy task.
So it's all about the heart chakra. The heart chakra has 3 below it and 3 above it. Of course, there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of chakras on the body, but these are the big 7. And so 3 above, 3 below. It's all about the heart chakra right now. It's all about purging, letting go of that which no longer serves. And not to go too long in this video, but just got to mention, if you're working a job that you detest, if you are doing something that you feel is innately wrong, as we've worked with so many people that have been in certain fields that they couldn't do anymore. They just had to leave them because they couldn't do it anymore because they didn't believe what they were told initially. And they came to the realization that they weren't serving humanity. They were serving the control matrix through greed and all these other negative emotions. So they had to just walk away and leave it and find another way and have faith that it would manifest before them. When you're on your higher self's path, your true path, things will manifest. And it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be easy, but they will tend to work out. You'll see the synchronicities. The little things will happen that will let you know that you're on your right path. And again, the key is all about the heart chakra. So I hope you guys found this interesting, inspiring, and perhaps enlightening. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. If you want to check out some really good supplements from a really good company, check out the link to Medicinal Foods. And that when you do buy through that link, it does help support the channel and our work here. And we are on the ascending path, guys. We can see the light. We just have to keep heading towards it.
Absolutely. God bless and namaste.
God bless. Namaste.